Ontario, Canada, SpaceX Starlink, canceled or not? Which one is it? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination. You know, I love that zing and that bergamot. So good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. It's a SpaceX day. It's an economy day. It's a trade wars day. Tariffs and all kinds of other stuff. Well, we want to get into it a little bit today because for me, I just feel absolutely horrible for all of you guys out there that are in Canada, that are sitting on the fence. Do we get SpaceX Starlink? Do we not? Do we get it? Do we not? And it's like this back and forth. You're being used as a pawn, just like most nations do with their people. It's a sad, sad thing. But I want to talk to you a little bit about it. I was reading 2 or 3 articles. I want to go through them with you so you know what's going on up to the minute. Because for a while there, it was off and then it was on and then off and then back and forth. And what is the answer? Well, I'll give you the answer as of today. That doesn't mean it'll be the same tomorrow, but we'll see. Before we get into this article, I just want to say that if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. That's very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and do all those things. Share is probably number 1. That really helps out a lot. Click this notification button here also. Then click all. So when I go live and when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. They're free just for you being here. Go to JCristina.com/books. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a little thank you button right on here. Thank you, YouTube. Appreciate that. Click on that. Give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more SpaceX Starlink specific content, I put together about 410, 415 videos just for you. I did. I promise you. I'll put a link right over here to the playlist. Don't click it yet. I'll put a link here. So when you're done watching this video, check them out. There's a lot of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, making mesh networks, all kinds of good stuff. Check it out. Once again, that playlist, SpaceX Starlink playlist. So let's jump into this, but I want to ask one thing, that by the time you're done watching this video, down below in the comments, add something. What do you think about all this? If you're shy, you don't want to add something, just add a emoji. At least I know you were here listening. If not, I want to hear from you. What do you think? What do you think about the tariffs? What do you think about what's going on in Canada, China, EU, Mexico, so on and so forth, that we're going to talk about in just a moment. Down below, I want to hear from you. The Starlink saga, an unexpected U-turn. Just yesterday, Ontario made headlines with a bold move against Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink, only to reverse course hours later in a dramatic display of political gymnastics. Yesterday morning, the province announced that it would cancel a $68 million contract with the satellite internet provider in retaliation against U.S. tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. However, by afternoon, in a surprising U-turn, the contract was reinstated, sending ripples of confusion and criticism through both the political and public discourse. Originally, this contract was intended to bridge the digital divide in Ontario's remote and rural areas, promising to connect 15,000 homes and businesses by June 2025. But as U.S. tariffs loom large, Ontario Premier Doug Ford took a hard stance, declaring on X, quote, "We'll be ripping up the province's contract with Starlink. Ontario won't do business with people hell-bent on destroying our economy." Really? We'll get into the numbers in just a second. The flip-flop fiasco. Politics over progress. The decision to reverse the cancellation came after a whirlwind of diplomatic engagement between Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Donald Trump, who agreed to a month-long delay on the enforcement of tariffs. This sudden pivot was announced amidst the backdrop of other retaliatory measures, including threats to remove American liquor from Ontario's shelves, which was also put on hold. Critics argued that the flip-flop is not just a matter of policy, but a spectacle of political opportunism. I would have to agree with that. The economic implications are significant. The contract was crucial for enhancing rural economies by providing modern communication tools. Now, with the contract back in play, there's uncertainty about the stability of such initiatives moving forward. There should be. Public reaction, relief mixed with skepticism. The public's reaction has been a blend between relief and skepticism. While some rural residents are glad for the continued promise of internet access, others question the government's decision-making process. Political analysts have pointed out that this episode might cost Premier Ford some political capital, especially as he campaigns for re-election. The opposition has been quick to pounce, with Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie stating, quote, "This contract should never have been signed in the first place if it could be revoked so easily over political spats," questioning the government's commitment to long-term economic planning over short-term political gains. A mirror to trade tensions. This incident is not isolated, but part of a larger narrative of U.S. and Canada trade relations strained by tariffs. It reflects how domestic policies can quickly become international chess pieces, with each move potentially affecting thousands. Today, as we speak, discussions on X are trending with hashtags like Starlink flip-flop and Ontario U-turn, signaling public engagement and frustration with the political back and forth. A lesson in political and economic stability. The saga of Ontario's SpaceX Starlink contract reveals the fragility of political promise when they clash with international trade conflicts. This is a cautionary tale on how economic policies can bend to political wins, with the people, not the services, becoming the pawns in this high-stakes game of political chess. That is 100% the case. I really do feel that all governments use their people as chess pieces on this great chessboard. And this is just something that has been happening since the beginning of time, but with certain countries it happens more than with others. Using the people as chess pieces, I think, is just wrong, but this has been going on once again forever. Now, I was looking into this a little bit. I wanted to see, what is the trade deficit with Canada? And at the same time, I wanted to see what was the trade deficit currently with China, with Mexico, with the EU. I just want to know, because honestly, I don't know. And I don't want to go and listen to some pundits on TV. And if I go to one channel, I get one number, and I go to another channel, I get another. I researched the actual numbers. I did my own math. My math is sometimes off. So you let me know if I'm off. So what I found out was in 2016 through 2020, okay, there was about a 27% trade deficit with Canada. 2016 through 2020. You know who was there, right? It was Trump. Then, between the years of 2020 to 2024, the trade deficit with Canada went from 27% to 329%. When Biden was there, 329% trade deficit. From $14 billion, it went to like $60+ billion trade deficit. A major problem. So once again, when Trump was in, there was a 27% trade deficit. And then when Biden got in, for those 4 years, it went to 329% trade deficit. So you can see there's a major disparity between the two. So if we break down these trade deficits with the US from Canada and Mexico and China and the EU, Canada comes in at an import of $377 billion of U.S. product and an export of $433 billion. This is for 2024. That's a 13% deficit. If we look at Mexico, they import $329 billion and export $492 billion. That is a 33% trade deficit. Now, if we look at the EU imports $268 billion and exports to us $400 billion. That is a 41% trade deficit. And then the mega trade deficit, of course, is with China. China imports $147 billion from the US and exports to us $427 billion. That is a 66% trade deficit. How do you fix it? Tariffs. That's all we've been hearing the president talk about is tariff this, tariff this, tariff this. Why? Well, that is the easiest way to fix this kind of stuff. And how you fix it is anything coming into your country, you put a tariff, a charge, let's call it, a cost to bring the stuff here. So what he's going to be doing with Canada, or was going to be doing, was implementing a 25% tariff, meaning anything that came into the country, there's a 25% fee. So if there's a $10 product that comes in, maybe my phone is $10, right? There is a $2.50 tariff, a fee that goes to the US government. That's how you do it. So if you don't want to buy our goods, okay, your goods are going to be more expensive to get to us. That's just simply it. And the same thing that holds true with Mexico and China and the EU. It'll start out with 25%, and then if they don't fix it, it's going to go to 50%, so on and so forth. That is the trade wars. That is tariff wars that's going on right now. And I personally think that it's actually a good thing. I know some people have reservations about it, like, it's not really goodwill and this and that. Well, my answer to that is goodwill to us is not goodwill to you. If we are sitting here with trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt because our trade is imbalanced, there should be a 50-50 balance, or maybe a slightly less, maybe 60-40, maybe 55-45, something like that. But not when you see like 40% one way and 60-some% the other. It's just out of whack. With Canada, it's about 13%. So it's not crazy. But when you see Mexico at 33%, the EU at 41%, and then China at 66%, something needs to be done. We are losing money hand over fist. They need to take our products. And if they don't, their products are going to cost more to get here. That is it. It's pretty simple, right? It's simple. Now, does government waste money all the time in other places, and that is the reason why we have such a incredible debt? Yes. The trillions of dollars are there for other reasons. I mean, some of the reasons is just, we just simply give money away because we have it, right? No, we're in debt. We're borrowing money technically from China, but we're giving it to other countries. So we borrow it from China, we give it to other countries, and then we sit in debt. Does that make any sense? Probably not so much. All right? Just simple math. You look at it, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense to you. Tell me why I'm wrong. For me, I want to see us bring more money into the country and send less out. If you have a credit card, you're paying it off over time. You don't want to go and get extra credit on that credit card, go from, let's say, $15,000 credit to $25,000 and then spend that too. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You want to take the $15,000 debt that you have and then pay it off little by little, or maybe a lot by lot. All right? Well, the US is not going to do it the way they are doing it with trade with other countries. So something has to give. Now, round robin back to Canada. In my personal opinion, I just absolutely hate, I feel for you guys that are in Canada, where the country is using you, once again, as a pawn. Bridging this digital divide is very important, all right? They've been talking about this for 10, 15, 20 years, and a lot of money have been going into it here in the US, but a lot has not been done. A lot of money went to these big companies, but these companies really didn't do a lot. The same thing holds true in Canada. They've been talking about this digital divide, and the people that are out in the woods, let's say it, out of the way of the cities, they should have internet. They should have high-speed internet. Well, SpaceX Starlink is the only way to get it. Forget about Usenet and Viasat and all the rest of them. They are out of business. Just consider them out of business. If you are up in a mountain someplace, SpaceX Starlink is going to give you the same speed as some guy sitting in a city somewhere. Pretty close. Within reason. That is what makes it so revolutionary. That's what makes it so amazing. That's what made it such a game changer for myself and my family. We were here at this home in a rural area getting 1.5 megabits up and 15 megabits down for 30 years because AT&T wouldn't run the fiber, even though the fiber was literally at the can at the end of the neighborhood, that they wouldn't run it to the homes. So when SpaceX Starlink came about, I was the first one on that waiting list. It took me 8 months to get my family SpaceX Starlink. Now I've had it for about 45 months and absolutely love it. Love it. It was revolutionary. All right. And I hope the same holds true with you guys over there in Canada. I hope they do not use you once again as pawns and they go through with this and not hold these trade wars, these tariff wars over the heads of you guys in the rural areas. It's just simply not right. But this is what ends up happening with all countries, not just yours in Canada. I'm hoping for the best. Once again, it was a contract no to a contract yes, to a maybe. Like I said before, Donald Trump put a stay to the tariffs imposed on Canada for 30 days for them to work something out. There's not going to be this massive trade deficit of $60 billion going forward. They're going to fix it or they're not. That is simply it. If you don't want to take the U.S. alcohol in Canada, don't. We will not take your product here either. Or if you want to send it to us, there's going to be some type of tariff put on it. 25, 30, maybe as high as 50%. It depends on how crazy things get. That's just simply it. So what say you down below? What do you think? What do you think about tariffs going to Canada and Mexico and the EU and China, so on and so forth? What do you think about the people in Canada and how they might or might not, sitting in limbo, get SpaceX Starlink? Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's fair that Elon Musk kind of gets singled out because he was pro-Trump at the time to now losing a $68 billion deal because he was pro-Trump? Do you think that should happen? There's a lot of stuff going on here that we can unpack for probably an hour, but for now, let's leave it at that. And down below, I want to hear from you. You know what I think? I want to know what you think. If you enjoyed the content, throw it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years, and my merch and my tees and my mugs and my shirts and my books and everything else. Go to JCristina.com, see if there's something there you like. If there is, pick it up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, especially you guys in Canada. And we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.